Hey everyone, I'm David Rubin, Director of Product Testing at thesleepdoctor.com.
And I'm Dr. Michael Breus, the Sleep Doctor.
So Dr. Breus, I'm a bit of a health food and fitness nut, and I'm always looking for the next best thing to improve my sleep and my health. But I feel like while I see a ton of info out there about the best foods for sleep, there's not a lot about why they work and why you should eat them.
Yeah, I agree with you. It comes down to the vitamins that are in the food that you're eating. And it turns out that there are 5 key vitamins that help you with better sleep.
Well, let's learn about them.
All right, let's go.
First, let's talk about one you're probably familiar with, vitamin D. Now, there are lots of ways to get vitamin D in your diet, but sunlight, not diet, is the #1 source of vitamin D. It's also found in fatty fish and fish oils, so eating fish, or if you can stomach a supplement, that's a great option to go. Vitamin D is also in egg yolks, dairy, and juice. So, hey, eat a well-rounded breakfast and you're probably getting some vitamin D.
Absolutely. And it turns out that vitamin D affects your sleep in 3 different areas. So sleep quality and quantity, your circadian rhythms, as well as sleep apnea. Let's get started with sleep quality and quantity first. So vitamin D deficiency is actually linked to a shorter sleep duration, meaning people don't sleep as long or their sleep drive isn't as proficient if they don't have enough vitamin D. In fact, insufficient sleep and lack of vitamin D is especially strong in adults over age 50. Now, I fall into that category myself, and one of the things we know is that as we get older, our menu choices seem to slow, but also our activity levels. We might not be outside as much. So again, vitamin D can be very important in those situations. But remember, low levels of vitamin D are connected to poor sleep quality. One of the things we do in our clinic is we'll run blood work, and one of the first things we look for is vitamin D when somebody says to me, hey, I got poor quality sleep.
Makes sense.
Right? Now remember, vitamin D is also a circadian pacemaker, so it helps regulate our circadian clocks. And so let's talk a little bit about how it affects our circadian rhythm. Remember, vitamin D may activate 2 circadian clock genes, and these are what control the entire circadian system. Also, once again, sunlight is the best way to get your vitamin D. So I'm always telling people, hey, when you wake up in the morning time, go over to the window, get a little extra sunlight. It's going to do you some good. With sleep apnea, which as we know is a diagnosed sleep disorder, interesting data, but a lack of vitamin D worsens the severity of sleep apnea. Increasing vitamin D levels are actually connected with improvements in sleep apnea symptomatology. So if you're currently have sleep apnea, let's say you're using a CPAP machine or something along those lines, it's probably a good idea to invest in either a vitamin D supplement in the morning time or getting outside and getting some sun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have sleep apnea, but I can say that getting outside as early as possible, going for just a 15-minute walk feels so good. Feels good just to move your body and obviously get that vitamin D from sunlight. I'm lucky enough to live in a sunny place, but if the sun's harder to find where you are, just open a window, just try to get it wherever you can. And also, I mean, just eating a healthy, well-balanced diet is going to bring more vitamin D naturally.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one thing that people have a tendency to ask me is they say, well, if I'm going outside to get my sunlight, do I wear sunglasses? Do I look at the sun? Like, can I do it through a window? Like, what's going on here? So the basics are get your butt outside and get some direct sunlight. Don't wear glasses, but don't look at the sun either. Okay. And if it's too cold, let's say you're in New York and it's December, you can go over to a window. But remember, most windows have got some layer of film to them, which is blocking some of the sunlight that's coming through. So that way the dwelling doesn't get too hot as well. So in actuality, you're doing the best part, which is getting outside, getting some fresh air, and getting your vitamin D.
The next vitamin that can help with your sleep is vitamin E. Now, there are lots of places to find vitamin E naturally in your diet, which is perfect. It's in nuts and seeds. Spinach, broccoli, and tomatoes all contain vitamin E. Different oils also have vitamin E, such as wheat germ oil, corn oil, and soybean oils, which tend to be in a lot of snacks and you can just cook with.
Absolutely. Now remember, vitamin E helps you out in 3 specific areas when it comes to sleep. One is with memory protection, the next is with hormone protection, and then the final one is with sleep apnea. So let's break this down for a minute. So starting with sleep-related memory protection, vitamin E offers protection for the health and function of your brain. In a 2012 study, they found that vitamin E reduced memory loss in sleep-deprived rodents. And now, generally speaking, I'm not a big rodent study kind of guy, but I do remember this study in particular. And one of the facets that was so interesting was it wasn't just newly acquired memory, it was actually continuous memory. So as I'm getting older, hitting age 55, I kind of need that help. And so vitamin E is a good supplement for me anyway, and it helps with my sleep. Now, another aspect is sleep-related hormone protection. So maintaining healthy levels of vitamin E may protect testosterone production from the effects of sleep deprivation. And remember, Testosterone is one of the things that gives us all a little bit of energy, both men and women, and it's very important for our overall levels of sleep. Finally, sleep apnea is a big one as well. And so remember, people with sleep apnea often have low levels of vitamin E. So vitamin E can improve nighttime breathing and sleep quality in people with obstructive sleep apnea. So if you are currently being treated for sleep apnea, this might be a smart thing to add.
A lot of benefits to vitamin E. I think one good takeaway here is just make sure you eat the rainbow to get all your vitamins.
Yeah. And for me, what I do, I'm a big snacker. And so I actually keep a bowl of nuts on the desk. And that's how I get my vitamin E every day.
Then we have one of the most common vitamins, vitamin C. Vitamin C is found in so many fruits and vegetables. It's in citrus fruits. It's in vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. It's in kale, spinach, and red bell peppers. It's in green and red chilies. It's in strawberries. It's in kiwis. So many great options to choose from, something for everyone.
Absolutely. Remember, vitamin C helps you out with sleep quality and duration, memory protection, and has some effects on sleep apnea as well. Let's first look at the sleep amounts and sleep quality. So low intake of vitamin C has actually been connected to shorter sleep amounts. So remember, the length of time you sleep could have something to do with your vitamin C. Lower levels of vitamin C have been linked to more nightly sleep disturbance and a greater risk for sleep disorders in general. As far as our memory is concerned, vitamin C protects the brain against memory losses associated with sleep deprivation. That's a big one for me as I'm reaching 55. And then, of course, sleep apnea and other health-related risks. Vitamin C has been shown to improve the symptoms of obstructive sleep apnea, and vitamin C may improve endothelial function in people with obstructive sleep apnea. So if you're on treatment for sleep apnea, you probably need to get some vitamins.
Well, yeah, a good recommendation. There are a ton of foods with vitamin C. So whenever I'm at the grocery store, I just like to pick up as many as I can that look good, look fresh, look in season, that my kids will like. And then when I get home, whenever I'm making a soup, a stir fry, a salad, I just think, how many fruits and vegetables can I add? Smoothies are another great option.
Yep, absolutely. I'm coming to his house for dinner.
And finally, we have our B vitamins, B6 and B12. You can find B6 in a lot of foods that include bananas, carrots, spinach, potatoes, milk, cheese, and fish, and in many whole grains. Now, B12 is in a lot of dairy, eggs, meat, fish, and shellfish. So many great opportunities to get B vitamins.
Absolutely. Let's start by talking about vitamin B6. So vitamin B6 can improve dream recollection, and it can actually change melatonin and serotonin production. Let's start with one of my favorite topics, dreams. So vitamin B6 may help people increase their ability to remember their dreams. For people who are going to dream therapy or who are taking a look at their dreams, trying to understand a little bit more about themselves, this could be quite helpful. Another area that we notice that B6 aids us in is melatonin and serotonin production. Remember, vitamin B6 aids in the production of the hormones serotonin and melatonin, both of which are very important for sleep. Also, vitamin B6 has been connected to a lower risk for depression. So for people out there who might be suffering from depression, this could be important news.
Yeah, a lot of good reasons to get vitamin B6 into your diet. And as we said, it is in so many different foods, not just fruits and vegetables, also in meat and dairy. So a lot of good ways to start without needing a supplement.
Absolutely. So keep in mind that high levels of vitamin B6 can also be toxic, and excessive levels of B6 have also been linked to insomnia. Do me a favor, talk with your doctor before you start taking vitamin B6 supplements or increasing the amount in your diet. I like the idea of using a multivitamin. It's a little bit smaller dose, it's mixed in with a whole bunch of other stuff, and you're probably going to get exactly what you need.
That's a great point. Good for overall health. Now, what about B12?
So B12 turns out to be a key sleep-wake regulator. Studies show that vitamin B12 is involved in regulating sleep-wake cycles by helping keeping your circadian rhythm in sync. High levels of B12 have also been connected to a lower risk of depression. So once again, we're seeing that the Bs have got something to do with depression. We know that depression affects sleep, so it's a good idea to have a balance of your Bs. Whether you're taking added supplements or just changing up your diet, it's always a good idea to keep track of how what you're consuming makes you feel and how it affects your sleep.
Absolutely. And if you want to learn more about what foods and vitamins can improve your sleep, head on over to thesleepdoctor.com. For now, I'm David Rubin.
And I'm Dr. Michael Breus, the Sleep Doctor, wishing you sweet dreams.